Chapter 14 to 16. The records of the words of truth and the reprimand of the watchers of the age, according to the command of the great Holy One in the dream that I saw. In this vision I saw in my dream what I am now telling you with the tongue of flesh and with the breath of my mouth, which the Great One has given to the sons of men, so that they might speak with them and to understand with the heart. As he destined, fashioned, and created the sons of men to understand the words of knowledge, so he has destined, fashioned, and created me to reprimand the watchers, the sons of heaven. I wrote down your petition, but in the vision the following was revealed to me, that you will not obtain petition for all the days of eternity, but judgment has been consummated in the decree against you, that from now on you will not ascend into heaven throughout all the ages. And it has been decreed to bind you in bonds within the earth for all the days of the age, and that before these things you will see the destruction of your beloved ones, together with all their sons and their possessions, and that you will have no heirs to them, but they will fall before you by the sword of total destruction. Accordingly, you will not obtain your petition concerning them, nor concerning yourselves. And all of you will be petitioning and making supplication, but not a single word will be spoken from the writing that I have written. And the following was shown to me in a vision. Behold, clouds in the vision were summoning me, and mists were crying out to me, and meteors and lightning flashes were hastening me and speeding me along. And winds in my vision carried me away, and lifted me upward, and brought me up, and made me to enter into the heavens. And I went in until I drew near to a wall built of hailstones. And tongues of fire were encircling them all around, and they began to frighten me. And I went into the tongues of fire, and I drew near to a great house built of hailstones. And the walls of this house were like tessellated paving stones, and they were all of snow. And the floor was of snow, and the ceiling was like meteors and lightning flashes. And in the midst of them were fiery cherubim, and their heaven was water, and a flaming fire encircled all their walls, and the doors blazed with fire. And I went into that house. It was hot as fire and cold as snow, and there was no delight of life in it. And fear enveloped me, and trembling seized me. And quaking and trembling I fell upon my face. And I saw in my vision, and behold, I saw another open door before me, and a house greater than the first, and all of it was built of tongues of fire, all of it so excelled in glory and splendor and majesty that I am unable to describe for you its glory and majesty. And its floor was of fire, and its upper part was flashes of lightning and meteors, and its ceiling was a flaming fire. And I was looking, and I saw a lofty throne, and its appearance was like ice, and its wheels were like the shining sun, and I heard the sound of the cherubim. And from beneath the great throne came forth streams of flaming fire, and I was unable to look upon it. And the great glory sat upon it. His raiment was like the appearance of the sun, and whiter than much snow. No angel could enter into this house and look upon his face because of the splendor and glory, and no flesh could behold him. A flaming fire encircled him, and a great fire stood by him, so that none who surrounded him could approach him. 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him, but he needed no counselor. His every word was deed. And the holy ones of the watchers who approached him did not depart by night, nor by day did they leave him. Until now I had been on my face prostrate and trembling, and the Lord called me with his own mouth and said to me, "Come here, Enoch, and hear my word." And one of the holy ones came to me and raised me up and made me stand, and brought me up to the door, but I had my face bowed down. But he answered and spoke to me, and I have heard his voice. "Fear not, Enoch, righteous man and scribe of truth. Come here and listen to my voice. Go and say to the watchers of heaven who have sent you to intercede on their behalf, it is you who should be petitioning on behalf of men, and not men on behalf of you. Why have you forsaken the high heaven, the eternal sanctuary, and lay with women, and defiled yourself with the daughters of men, and taken wives for yourselves, and acted like the sons of earth, and have begotten for yourselves sons that are giants? But you are holy ones and spirits living forever. Yet you have defiled yourselves with the blood of women, and have given birth by the blood of flesh. And you have lusted after the blood of men, and you have produced flesh and blood, just as those who die and perish. It was for this reason I gave them women, that they might cast seed into them, and thus begat children by them, so that descendants should never fail them upon the earth. But you originally existed as spirits, living forever and immortal for all the generations of the age. And for this reason I did not make women among you. In heaven is the dwelling place for the spirits of heaven. But now the giants who were begotten by the spirits in flesh, they will call them evil spirits upon the earth, for their dwelling will be upon the earth. The spirits that will come forth from the bodies of their flesh are evil spirits, for they have come into being from men, and the origins of their creation and the origins of their foundation are from the holy watchers. Evil spirits they will be upon the earth, and evil spirits they will be called. As for the spirits of heaven, in heaven is their dwelling, but the spirits begotten on the earth is their dwelling. And the vicious spirits of the giants, the Nephilim, inflict violence, cause desolation, and attack and wrestle and dash to the ground and cause injuries. They eat nothing but abstain from food and thirst and stumble and fall. And these spirits will rise up against the sons of men and against the women from whom they have come forth. From the day of the time of the slaughter and destruction of the giants, their spirits that come forth from the souls of their flesh will continue to cause destruction uncondemned. Thus they will cause desolation until the day of consummation of the great judgment, when the great age will be consummated. It will be consummated all at once. And now say to the watchers who sent you to petition in their behalf, who were in the heaven, you were in heaven, and there was no secret that was not revealed to you. And you learned a secret that was from God. And in your hardness of heart you made this known to the women. And through this secret the women and men are multiplying evils upon the earth. Say to them, you will have no peace. Chapter 17 to 20. And these are the names of the holy angels who keep watch. Uriel, one of the holy angels who is in charge of the world in Tartarus. Raphael, one of the holy angels who is in charge of the spirits of men. Reuel, one of the holy angels who tends the hosts of the luminaries. Michael, one of the holy angels who has been put in charge of the blessings of the people. Sariel, one of the holy angels who is in charge of the spirits of the sons of men who sin against the Spirit. Gabriel, one of the holy angels who is in charge of the garden, and the seraphim, and the cherubim. Remiel, one of the holy angels whom God has put in charge of those who rise. The names of the 7 archangels. And they took me and led me away to a certain place, where those who were there were like a flaming fire, and whenever they wished they took on the appearance of men. And they led me away to a dark place and to a mountain whose summit reached to heaven. And I saw the place of the luminaries and the storehouse of the stars and of the thunders, and to the depths of the ether, where the bow of fire and the arrows and their quivers were, and the sword of fire and all the lightnings. And they led me away to the flowing waters and to the fire of the west, which provides all the sunsets. And I came to the river of fire, whose fire flows down like water and discharges into the great sea of the west. And I saw all the great rivers, and I arrived at the great river in the great darkness, and I departed for where no flesh walks. I saw the wintry winds of darkness, and the gushing of all the waters of the abyss. I saw the mouth of all the rivers of the earth, and the mouth of the abyss. I saw the storehouses of all the winds. I saw how through them he ordered all created things. I saw the foundation of the earth and the cornerstone of the earth, And I saw the four winds supporting the earth in the firmament of heaven. And I saw how the winds stretch out the height of heaven. They stand between earth and heaven. They are the pillars of heaven. I saw the winds which turn the heaven and cause the sphere of the sun and all the stars to set. I saw the winds of the earth bearing the clouds. I saw the path of the angels. I saw at the ends of the earth the firmament of the heavens above. I proceeded and saw a place that was burning night and day, where there were 7 mountains of precious stones, 3 lying to the east and 3 to the south. And of those to the east 1 was of colored stone, and 1 was of pearl, and 1 was the color of antimony. And those to the south were of fiery stones. And the middle one of them reached to the heavens like the throne of God, of emeralds, and the top of the throne was of sapphire. And I saw a burning fire. And beyond these mountains is a region, the edge of the great earth. There the heavens come to an end. And I saw a great chasm between pillars of heavenly fire, and I saw in it pillars of fire descending, and they were immeasurable both in depth and in height. And beyond this chasm I saw a place where there was neither firmament of heaven above, nor firmly founded earth beneath it. Neither was there water upon it, nor bird, but the place was desolate and fearful. And there I saw 7 stars like great burning mountains. When I inquired about them, the angel said to me,
"This place is the end of the heavens and the earth. This has become a prison for the stars and the hosts of heaven. And the stars that are rolling over in the fire, these are they that transgressed the command of Yahweh in the beginning of their rising. For they did not come out at their appointed times. And he was angry with them and bound them until the time of the consummation of their sins, 10,000 years.
And Uriel said to me,
There stand the angels who mated with the women, and their spirits, assuming many forms, will bring destruction upon men and lead them astray to sacrifice to demons as to gods until the day of the great judgment in which they will be judged with finality. And the wives of the transgressing angels will become sirens.
I, Enoch, alone saw the visions, the extremities of all things, and no one among men has seen as I saw." Chapter 21 to 23. And I traveled to a formless void, and there I saw a terrible thing. I saw neither heaven above, nor firmly founded earth, but a place empty and terrible. And there I saw 7 stars of heaven bound and cast in it together, like great mountains, and burning in fire. Then I said, For what reason have they been bound? And for what reason have they been thrown down here? Then Uriel spoke to me, one of the holy angels who was with me, and he was their leader. He said to me,
Enoch, why do you inquire, and why are you eager for the truth? These are the stars of heaven that transgress the command of Yahweh. They have been bound here until the completion of 10,000 years, the time of their sins.
And from there I traveled to another place, more terrible than the former, and I saw terrible things, a great fire burning and flaming there. And the place had a narrow cleft extending to the abyss, full of great pillars of fire borne downward. Neither the measure nor the size was I able to see or to estimate. Then I said, How terrible is this place, and fearful to behold! Then Uriel, one of the holy angels who was with me, answered me and said to me,
Enoch, why are you so frightened and shaken?
And I replied, Because of this terrible place, and because of the fearful spectacle. And he said,
This place is a prison for the angels. Here they will be confined to the age of the ages.
And from there I was transported to another place. And to the west he showed me a great and high mountain of flint-hard rock. And there were 4 hollow places in it, deep and very smooth. 3 of them were dark, and 1 illuminated with a fountain of water in the middle of it. And I said, How smooth are these hollows, and altogether deep and dark to view. Then Raphael, one of the holy angels who was with me, answered and said to me, "These hollow places are there so that the spirits of the souls of the dead might be gathered into them. For they were fashioned for this very purpose, that the souls of all the sons of men should be gathered here. And behold, these are the pits for the place of their incarceration. Thus they were fashioned until the day on which they will be judged, and until the time of the day of the end of the great judgment that will be exacted from them." There I saw the spirit of a dead man making suit, and his lamentation went up to heaven and cried out and made suit. Then I asked Raphael, the watcher and holy one who was with me, and said to him, "This spirit that makes suit, whose is it, that in this manner his lamentation goes up and makes suit unto heaven?" And he answered me and said, "This is the spirit that went forth from Abel, whom his brother Cain murdered. And Abel makes accusation against him until his seed perishes from the face of the earth, and his seed is obliterated from among the seed of men." Then I asked about all the hollow places, why they were separated from one another. And he answered me and said, "These three were made that the spirits of the dead might be separated. And this first hollow has been separated for the spirits of the righteous, where the bright fountain of water is. And this second hollow has been created for the spirits of the sinners, when they die and are buried in the earth, but judgment has not been executed upon them in their life. Here their spirits are separated for this great torment until the great day of judgment, the day of everlasting scourges and tortures of the accursed, so that there might be a recompense for their spirits. There he will be bound to the age. And this third hollow has been separated for the spirits of those who make suit, who make disclosure with regard to the destruction when they were murdered in the days of the sinners. And this fourth hollow was fashioned for the spirits of men who will not be pious, but sinners who are godless, and they were companions with the lawless. And their spirits will not be punished on the day of judgment, nor will they be raised from there." Then I blessed the Lord of glory and said, "Blessed is the judgment of righteousness, and blessed are you, O Lord of majesty and righteousness, who is the Lord of the age." And from there I was transported to another place, to the west of the ends of the earth. And I saw a fire that ran, and it did not rest or pause its course day and night, but remained constant. And I asked and said, "What is this that has no rest?" Then Reuel answered me and said to me, "This course of fire is the fire of the west, which pursues all the luminaries of heaven." Chapter 24 to 27. And he showed me mountains of fire that burn day and night. And I proceeded beyond them, and I saw 7 magnificent mountains, all differing each from the other, whose stones were precious in beauty. And all the mountains were precious and glorious and beautiful in form. 3 to the east were firmly set one on the other, and 3 to the south one on the other, with deep and rugged ravines. Not one approached any other. And the 7th mountain was in the middle of these, and it rose above them in height like the seat of a throne, and fragrant trees encircled it. And among them was a tree with a fragrance such as I had never smelled, and among them was no other like it. It had a fragrance sweeter than all spices, and its leaves and its blossoms and wood never wither. And its fruit was beautiful, like dates of the palm trees. Then I said, "How beautiful is this tree and fragrant, and its leaves are lovely, and its blossoms are lovely to behold." Then Michael, one of the holy angels who was with me, and was their leader, answered me, and he said to me, "Enoch, why do you inquire, and why do you marvel at the fragrance of this tree? And why do you desire to learn the truth?" Then I answered him, "I desire to learn about all things, but especially about this tree." And he answered me and said, "This high mountain that you saw, whose summit is like the throne of God, is the seat where the great Holy One, the Lord of glory, the King of the age, will sit when he descends to visit the earth in goodness. And as for this fragrant tree, no flesh has the right to touch it until the great judgment, in which there will be recompense upon all, and a consummation until the age. Then it will be given to the righteous and the pious, and its fruit will be food for the elect. And it will be transplanted to the holy place, beside the temple of God, the King of the ages. Then they will rejoice exceedingly and be glad, and they will enter into the sanctuary, and its fragrances will be in their bones. And they will live a long life upon the earth, such as your fathers also lived in their days. And torments and plagues and sufferings will not touch them. Then I bless the God of glory, the King of the ages, who has prepared such things for the righteous and has created such things and promised to give these to them. And from there I was transported to the center of the earth, and I saw a blessed place where there were trees whose saplings survive and burgeon from a felled tree. And there I saw a holy mountain. From beneath the mountain a stream came from the east, and its descent was towards the south. And to the east I saw another mountain higher than it. And between them was a deep and narrow valley, and through it water flowed beneath the mountain. And to the west of this was another mountain lower than it, and not of great height. And a deep and dry valley was beneath it, between them. And another deep and dry valley was at the apex of the three mountains. And all the valleys were deep, of hard flint rock, and no tree was planted in them. And I marveled at the mountain, and I marveled at the valley. Indeed, I marveled exceedingly. Then I said, why is this land blessed, and all of it filled with trees, whereas that valley is accursed? Then Sariel, one of the holy angels who was with me, answered and said to me,
This accursed valley is for those who are accursed forever. Here the accursed will be gathered together, those who utter unseemly words with their mouth against the Lord, and speak hard words against his glory. Here they will be gathered, and here will be their habitation at the last times, in the days of righteous judgment in the presence of the righteous for all time. Here the godless will bless the Lord of glory, the King of the age. In the days of their judgment they will bless in accordance with how he has imparted mercy to them.
Then I blessed the Lord of glory, and I made known his glory, and praised magnificently. Chapter 28 to 36. And from there I went into the midst of the mountain range of the desert, and I saw that it was desolate, but a single place was full of trees and plants. Water was gushing forth from above, flowing like a copious watercourse approximately to the northwest. It brought water and also dew from all around. From there I went into another place in the desert, and I departed far to the east of this mountain range. And I saw trees of the field breathing fragrance of frankincense and myrrh, and their trees were like nut trees. And beyond them I departed far to the east, and I saw another vast place, valleys of streams, in which were aromatic cane like reeds. And on the banks of these valleys I saw the fragrant cinnamon. And beyond these valleys I was transported to the east, and I saw other mountains, and I also saw trees on them, from which flowed the resin called styrax and galbanum. And beyond these mountains I was shown another mountain towards the east of the ends of the earth, and all of the trees in it were full of aloes, and it was like the shell of the almond. When an incision is made in these trees, a pleasant odor comes forth from them. When this bark is ground, it is sweeter than any perfume. And beyond these mountains, approximately to their northeastern side, I saw other mountains filled with choice nard and aromatic shells and cardamom and pepper. And from there I was transported to the east of all these mountains, far from them to the east of the earth. And I was conveyed over the sea of reeds, and departed far from it. And I crossed over the darkness far from it. And I passed on to the garden of righteousness. And from afar I saw trees more plentiful and larger than these trees, differing from those, very tall and beautiful and glorious and magnificent. And I saw the tree of knowledge, whose fruit the holy ones eat and learn great wisdom. The height of that tree is like the fir, and its leaves are like those of the carob, and its fruit is like the clusters of the vine, shining brightly. and its fragrance penetrates far beyond the tree. Then I said, "How beautiful is the tree, and how pleasing is its appearance!" Then Gabriel, the holy angel who was with me, answered, "This is the tree of knowledge from which your father of old and your mother of old ate and learned knowledge. And their eyes were opened, and they knew that they were naked, and they were driven from the garden." And from there I proceeded to the ends of the earth, and I saw great beasts there, and they each differed from the other. And birds also differed in their appearance, in their beauty, and their voices. Each differed from the other. And to the east of these beasts I saw the ends of the earth on which the heaven rests. And the gates of heaven opened, and I saw how the stars of heaven come forth. And I counted the gates from which they emerge, and I wrote down all their outlets, one by one, according to their number and their names, according to their conjunction and their position, and their seasons and their months, as Uriel, one of the watchers who was with me, showed me. And he showed me and wrote down for me everything. And he also wrote down their names and their appointed times and their functions. And from there I proceeded to the north to the ends of the earth. And there I was shown great and glorious wonders at the ends of the whole earth. And there I saw 3 gates of heaven opened in heaven. From them the north winds emerge. When they blow, there is cold and hail and hoarfrost and snow and dew and rain. Through one gate they blow for good, but when they blow through 2 of the gates, it is with violence and affliction upon the earth, and violently they blow. And from there I proceeded towards the west to the ends of the earth. And there I saw 3 gates of heaven open, as I had seen in the east, the same number of gates and the same number of outlets. And from there I was transported towards the south to the ends of the earth. And there I saw 3 gates of heaven open for the south wind, for dew and rain, and a hot wind came forth from there. And from there I was transported towards the east to the ends of the earth. And there I saw 3 gates of heaven open towards the east, and above them were small gates. Through each of these small gates pass the stars of heaven, and they proceed westward on the path that is shown to them. And when I saw, I blessed, and I shall always bless the Lord of glory, who has wrought great and glorious wonders, that he might show the grandeur of his deeds to his angels and to the spirits of men, so that they might see the work of his might and glorify the deeds of his hands and bless him forever. Chapter 37 to 39. The vision of wisdom that Enoch saw, the son of Jared, the son of Mahalalel, the son of Kenan, the son of Enosh, the son of Seth, the son of Adam. This is the beginning of the words of wisdom which I took up to recount to those who dwell on the earth. Listen, O ancients, and consider, you men of latter days, the words of the Holy One, which I shall speak in the presence of the Lord of spirits. It is profitable to speak these things to the ancients, but let us not withhold the beginning of wisdom from those in latter days. Until now, such wisdom which I have received in accordance to my insight and in accordance with the good pleasure of the Lord of spirits had never been imparted from the presence of the Lord of spirits. From him the lot of everlasting life was given to me. 3 parables were imparted to me, and I took them up and spoke to those who dwell on the earth. The first parable. When the congregation of the righteous appears, and the sinners are judged for their sins, and are driven from the face of the earth, and when the righteous one appears in the presence of the righteous and elect, whose works depend on the Lord of spirits, and light appears to the righteous and elect who dwell on the earth, where then will be the dwelling place of the sinners, and where will be the resting place of those who have denied the Lord of spirits? It would be better for them if they had never been born. When his secrets are revealed to the righteous, the sinners will be judged, and the wicked will be driven from the presence of the righteous and elect. And thereafter, it will not be the mighty and exalted who possess the earth. They will not be able to behold the face of the holy, for the light of the Lord of spirits will have appeared on the face of the holy, righteous, and elect. And then the kings and the mighty will perish, and they will be given into the hand of the righteous and holy. And from that time forward, no one will plead mercy for them from the Lord of Spirits, for their life will be at an end. There shall be no mercy for them, says the Lord of Spirits. And in those days, sons of the elect and holy were descending from the highest heaven, and their seed was becoming one with the sons of men. In those days, Enoch received books of jealous wrath and rage, and books of trepidation and consternation. And in those days a whirlwind snatched me up from the face of the earth, and set me down within the confines of the heavens. And there I saw another vision, the dwellings of the holy ones, and the resting places of the righteous. There my eyes saw their dwelling with his righteous angels, and their resting places with the holy ones. And they were petitioning and interceding and were praying for the sons of men. And righteousness was flowing like water before them, and mercy like dew upon the earth. Thus it is among them forever and ever. And in that place my eyes saw the elect one of righteousness and faith, and righteousness will be his days. And the righteous and elect will be innumerable before him forever and ever. And I saw his dwelling beneath the wings of the Lord of Spirits, and all the righteous and elect were radiant before him like fiery lights. And their mouths were full of blessing, and their lips praised the name of the Lord of Spirits. And righteousness did not fail before him, nor did truth fail before him. I desired to dwell there, and my spirit longed for that dwelling. My portion has been assigned there from of old, for thus it has been established concerning me in the presence of the Lord of Spirits. In those days I prayed and exalted the name of the Lord of Spirits with blessings and praises. For he has established me for blessing and praise according to the good pleasure of the Lord of Spirits. And for a long time my eyes looked at that place, and I blessed him and praised him, saying, Blessed is he, and may he be blessed from the beginning and forever. And in his presence there is no limit. He knew before the age was created what would be forever, and what is to come for generation to generation. The watchers bless you, and they stand in the presence of your glory, and they bless and praise and exalt, saying, Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of Spirits. He fills the earth with spirits. And there my eyes saw all the watchers. They stand in his presence, and they bless and say, Blessed are you, and blessed is the name of the Lord forever and ever. And my countenance was changed, for I was unable to see. Chapter 40 to 43. And after this I saw thousands times thousands and 10,000 times 10,000, beyond number and reckoning, who stood before the glory of the Lord of Spirits. I looked, and on the four sides of the Lord of Spirits I saw four figures different from the watchers. And I learned their names, because the angel who went with me and who showed me all the hidden things made their names known to me. And I heard the voices of the four figures as they uttered praise before the Lord of glory. The first voice blesses the Lord of Spirits forever and ever. And I heard the second voice blessing the elect one, and all the elect who depend on the Lord of Spirits. And I heard the third voice petitioning and supplicating on behalf of those who dwell upon the earth, and interceding in the name of the Lord of Spirits. And I heard the fourth voice fending off the Satans, and forbidding them to come before the Lord of Spirits to accuse those who dwell upon the earth. And after that I asked the angel of peace who went with me, and who showed me everything that is hidden, Who are these four figures that I have seen? And whose words have I heard and written down? And he said to me,
The first, who is merciful and long-suffering, is Michael. And the second, who is set over every sickness and every wound of the sons of men, is Raphael. And the third, who is set over every power, is Gabriel. And the fourth, who is set over the repentance to hope of those who inherit everlasting life, his name is Phanuel.
And these are the 4 angels of the Lord of Spirits, and the 4 voices I heard in those days. And after this I saw all the secrets of heaven, how the kingdom is divided, and how the deeds of men are weighed in the balance. And there I saw the dwelling places of the elect, and the dwelling places of the holy ones. And there my eyes saw all the sinners, those who deny the name of the Lord of Spirits, being driven away from there and being dragged off. And they could not remain because of the scourge that went forth from the Lord of Spirits. And there my eyes beheld the secrets of the lightnings and the thunder, and the secrets of the winds, how they are divided to blow upon the earth, and the secrets of the clouds and the dew. And there I saw from where they come forth in that place, and from there they saturate the dust of the earth. And there I saw closed storehouses, and from them the winds are distributed. The storehouse of the hail and the winds, and the storehouse of the mist and the clouds. And its cloud abides over the earth since the beginning of the age. And I saw the storehouses of the sun and the moon, from which they emerge into which they return, and their glorious return, and how one is more glorious than the other, and their splendid revolutions. And they do not depart from their course, and neither do they extend nor diminish their course. And they keep faith with one another, according to the oath by which they have sworn. And first, the sun emerges and works, traversing his path according to the command of the Lord of Spirits, and his name endures forever and ever. And after that I saw the invisible path of the moon, and she completes the course of her path in that place by day and by night. And the one watches the other in the presence of the Lord of Spirits. And they give praise and glory and do not rest, for their praise is rest for them. For the sun makes many revolutions for a blessing and a curse. And the course of the path of the moon is light to the righteous, and darkness to the sinners. In the name of the Lord, who made a separation between light and darkness, and divided the spirits of men, and strengthened the spirits of the righteous in the name of his righteousness. And I saw other lightnings and stars of heaven, and I saw that he called them all by their names, and they listened to him. And I saw a righteous balance, how they are weighed according to their amount of light, according to the breadth of their spaces, and the day of their appearing. And I saw how their motion produces lightning, and their motion is according to the number of the angels, and they keep their faith with one another. And I asked the angel who went with me, and showed me what was hidden, "What are these?" And he said to me, "The Lord of Spirits has shown you a parable concerning them. These are the names of the holy ones who dwell on the earth and believe in the name of the Lord of Spirits forever and ever." And another thing I saw regarding the lightning, how some of the stars arise and become lightning, and they are unable to remain with the rest of their hosts. Chapter 44 to 47. And this is the second parable concerning those who deny the name of the Lord of Spirits and the congregation of the holy ones.
And they will not ascend into heaven, nor will they come upon the earth. Such will be the lot of the sinners who have denied the name of the Lord of Spirits, who thus will be kept for the day of affliction and tribulation. On that day, my elect one will sit on the throne of glory, and he will test their works, and their resting places will be innumerable. And their souls will grow heavy within them, when they see my elect, and those who appeal to my glorious name. On that day I shall make my elect one dwell among them, and I shall transform the heaven, and make it an eternal blessing and a light. And I shall transform the earth, and make it a blessing. And I shall make my elect to dwell upon it, but those who commit sin and error will not set foot on it. For I have seen and satisfied my righteous ones with peace, and have caused them to dwell in my presence. But the judgment of the sinners has drawn near to me, so that I may destroy them from the face of the earth.
There I saw the Ancient of Days, and his head was like white wool. And with him was another whose countenance was like that of a man, and his face was full of graciousness, like one of the holy angels. And I asked the angel of peace, who went with me and showed me all the hidden things, concerning that Son of Man, who he was, and from where he was, and why he went with the Ancient of Days. And he answered me and said to me,
This is the Son of Man to whom belongs righteousness, and righteousness dwells with him. And he will reveal all the treasuries of what is hidden. For the Lord of spirits has chosen him, and his lot has triumphed through truth, in the presence of the Lord of spirits forever. And this Son of Man whom you have seen, he will raise the kings and the mighty from their couches, and the strong from their thrones. He will loosen the reins of the strong, and he will crush the teeth of the sinners. He will overturn the kings from their thrones and their kingdoms, because they do not exalt him or praise him, nor humbly acknowledge the source of their sovereignty. And he will turn aside the faces of the strong, and shame will fill them, and darkness will be their dwelling, and worms will be their couch. They will have no hope of rising from their couches, because they do not exalt the name of the Lord of spirits. And these are those who judge the stars of heaven, and raise their hands against the Most High, and tread upon the earth and dwell upon it. All their deeds manifest unrighteousness, and their power rests upon their riches. Their faith is in the gods which they have made with their own hands, and they deny the name of the Lord of spirits. And they persecute the houses of his congregation, and the faithful who depend on the name of the Lord of spirits.
In those days the prayer of the righteous will ascend, and the blood of the righteous one, from the earth into the presence of the Lord of spirits. In these days, the holy ones who dwell in the heights of heaven were uniting with one voice, and they were glorifying and praising and blessing the name of the Lord of spirits, and were interceding and praying on behalf of the blood of the righteous that had been shed, and the prayer of the righteous, that it might not be in vain in the presence of the Lord of spirits, that judgment might be executed on their behalf, and that their long suffering might not be forever. In those days I saw the Ancient of Days, as he took his seat on the throne of his glory. And the books of the living were open before him, and all his hosts, which was in the heights of heaven, and his court, were standing before him. And the hearts of the holy ones were filled with joy, and the number of the righteous was at hand, and the prayer of the righteous had been heard, and the blood of the righteous one had been required before the Lord of spirits. For neither angel nor Satan is able to hinder, for the judge sees them all, and judges them all in his presence. Wisdom found no place where she might dwell, so heaven became her dwelling place. Wisdom went forth to dwell among the sons of men, but she found no dwelling. Wisdom returned to her place and sat down among the angels. Iniquity went forth from her chambers. Those whom she did not seek she found, and she dwelt among them, like rain in a desert, and dew in a